It is time for tonight's main event, the final match of the RWL Japan 5-Star Collaborative Tour, and we have pulled out all the stops with Hulk Hogan, the immortal Hulk Hogan, set to go one-on-one in a non-title match against the Mexican monolith, Warlord Santos.
Main event is a non-title match, scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle, from Venice Beach, California, weighing 302 pounds, the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Bet the Hulkster is happy to be back in Japan. They really love the guy here. And he's ready for this main event with the Mexican monolith, but being ready might not be enough. Short of losing the World Heavyweight Championship to Matt Clark at Coliseum Games, Warlord Santos hasn't dropped very many of his matches. No matter what happens, or who wins, this is gonna be an insane main event.
Even with Warlord Santos heavily favored, the fans here in Japan, they just love Hulk Hogan. They're just happy to see him back.
His first visit to the Far East absolutely wowed the Japanese fans, where he became known as Ichiban Hogan, #1.
You can sense that the feeling here is way different from the reception Hulk Hogan usually gets from US fans, and that's because they view the man very differently here. Wondering whether or not the change of atmosphere will change the way the Hulkster does business. He might surprise us all and produce a few tricks in his repertoire we haven't seen quite so often back in America. I sure hope he does, because I've definitely heard about the Hulkster's days as Ichiban Hogan, and I sure wouldn't mind seeing some of that.
I wouldn't mind that too much myself.
Nor would I, Myron. But the question remains, has Hulk Hogan got the wherewithal it's going to take down the Mexican monolith?
Possible, but not guaranteed. We've seen the Hulkster come from behind a number of times, beat insurmountable odds as many times as you can think of. But this is Warlord Santos we're talking about.
His opponent, accompanied by Sylvia Strong from Hidalgo, Mexico, weighing 496 pounds. He's an RWL dual champion and the reigning RWL super heavyweight champion, the Mexican monolith, Warlord Santos.
All in all, an intriguing main event and a fantastic close to what has been an excellent Japan tour. We are just about ready. The official rings the bell. They come center ring. They lock up. Hogan being escorted to the corner by Santos. Hogan counters and escapes the corner. Santos shoves him right back. Shoves him back a second time. A third. Warlord Santos whips Hogan into the corner. A clothesline takes the Hulkster down. The Mexican monolith misses with the leg drop. Hogan quickly back on his feet. Hard right hand takes Hogan down. The Hulkster with Santos, face first into the canvas. With the Mexican monolith down, Hogan going for a cover, but not even a one. Santos back on his feet. Hogan with a series of kicks and a DDT. Some fast moves from the Hulkster. And he is sight. Santos trying to make his way back up to a standing position. Hogan drops a leg on the arm of the Mexican monolith. Basement dropkick takes him down yet again. Hulkster locks him up. Winds it up, and the right hand uppercut stuns the Mexican monolith but does not fall. Into the far corner. Hogan with a splash takes him out of the corner, and look at this right here, the power of the Hulkster. Scoop slam center ring. 496 pounds worth. Santos blocks Hogan with a headbutt. Locks him up again. Into a front cradle. Back into the turnbuckle, and Hulkster spun out center ring. Santos follows it up with a stomp and a rolling elbow to the back. The Mexican monolith hands the Hulkster up yet again. Escorting him towards the far corner, head first into the turnbuckle he goes. Hogan counters and escapes the corner. Nails Santos with a right, and look at this, into a sleeper hold. Possible submission here, referee checking the situation out, but Santos countering with a jawbreaker that backs Hogan off. Santos, look at this, into an abdominal stretch. A rare scientific move employed by the Mexican monolith, but Hulkster turning it into a hip toss. Another jawbreaker backs Hulkster off, and a running DDT drops him on the top of his head. Another leg drop from Santos. Hogan rolls to the outside. Santos taking himself all the way up to the top rope. Sylvia Strong watching her man very carefully here. Here he goes. Double axe handle finds the mark right across the head of Hulk Hogan. And now, whoa-ho! Just a series of stomps to the chest of the Hulkster. Santos has him up, and a running power slam on the outside as the referee counts. Warlord Santos working on the Hulkster's head and neck. As the referee continues to count, slams Hogan's head into the canvas. Santos setting him up here, and look at this. Whoa, what a power bomb. Santos one more time rounding up the Hulkster here. Rolls him back inside the ring. Santos taking his time about getting back in, but finally does, taking that huge step over the top rope. Warlord Santos, large and in charge at the moment, rounds up the Hulkster, whips him out onto the apron. Hard right hand, and a second, and a third, but Hulkster countering, makes his way back inside. Hulkster locks up Santos, winds up the arm, puts him down on the canvas, and drops the leg right on the arm. And a Luthes press from the Hulkster. Hard right hands, and woohoo! I do believe he just busted open Warlord Santos. Santos whipped to the ropes. Hulkster ducks under. Hip toss. Takes Santos down. The Hulkster drives a knee into the head of Warlord Santos. Hulkster drops the leg on the arm of the Mexican monolith again. The dual champion on the receiving end of some punishment here at the hands of Hulk Hogan, trying to rally this crowd into his favor. Man, Hulk Hogan battering the head of the Mexican monolith against the canvas. Hogan rounds him up, locks him up. Hard right hand drops Santos. Hogan going for another cover, but not even a one. Again, Santos powering out very quickly. Now Hulk Hogan paying Santos back, cranking the head and neck of the Mexican monolith. And now woohoo, just beating the head of Warlord Santos against the mat. Drives a knee into the head of the Mexican monolith. And Hulk Hogan is psyched. Look at this right here. Charges, but stopped cold with a headbutt. Taken right back down again. Warlord Santos bleeding and very angry. This is not good news for Hulk Hogan. Up over the shoulders. Slammed right back down. Santos rounds Hogan up. Has him up. Uh-oh, he's setting him up for a pile driver. Whoa, there it goes. Tombstone style pile driver. And Santos now dragging Hulk Hogan as close to center ring as he can get him. Covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2. As close to a near fall as we've come so far in this matchup. Santos rounds Hogan up. Locks him up. Has him up over the shoulder. And boom, head first into the turnbuckle he went. And now Hulk Hogan, much like Warlord Santos, has been busted open. The Mexican monolith all the way up on the top, waiting for Hogan to get back on his feet. And here it goes. Whoa, double axe handle again to Hulk Hogan. As the referee continues to count. Ooh, Santos beating a tattoo on the chest of Hulk Hogan with that boot. And that is a size 20 boot. A stomp to the arm of Hulk Hogan. The Mexican monolith rounds him up. Head first into the ring post. Not a good thing. Hogan locked up again. This time escorted towards the ramp area. Santos rounds him up. Collar and elbow. Tried to get him back inside the ring, but didn't quite make it. Santos bringing himself back inside as the referee continues to count on Hulk Hogan. And the Mexican monolith once again in control of the situation here. As Hogan slowly makes his way back to his feet. Makes his way back inside the ring. And another Lou Thesz press. Raining right hands on the head of the Mexican monolith. A kick to the back of the head. Hulk Hogan rounds him up. Collar and elbow. Whip to the ropes. Hogan ducks under. And a hip toss. Takes the Mexican monolith back down to the mat again. Santos counters. Takes Hogan down. Warlord Santos with a series of blows to Hulk Hogan and a headbutt that puts the Hulkster down on the canvas again. The dual champion taking some elbows to the midsection himself. Hulk Hogan moves in, shoulder tackle, takes Santos down. Hogan drives a knee into the head of the Mexican monolith. Warlord Santos raked. Hulk Hogan raking the back of Warlord Santos. Hogan winds it up again on another uppercut that took the Mexican monolith down to the canvas. And Hulk Hogan doing quite a bit of showboating here. And Warlord Santos, I've got to admit, I don't think I've seen him in this level of trouble in a while. An elbow across the chest, a second, and a delayed third. Oh, a stamp to the face of Warlord Santos. Hogan with a right, locks up Santos. Santos catches a hip toss. Takes himself to the outside for a moment. Brings himself back inside. They lock up again. Santos with the Hulkster up in a front cradle. Up over the shoulders, hung up over the top rope. Santos covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Well, now that is a surprise. Santos defeating Hulk Hogan by pinfall.
Here's the time, 9 minutes and 32 seconds. And your winner, the Mexican monolith Warlord Santos.
I was thinking this match was going to run a little bit longer, but I'll tell you what. Santos must have hung him up off that top rope pretty hard because Hogan went down and stayed down for a 3 count.
And I don't think we've seen Santos catch such a bloody beating for a long time, and still comes up with the 3 count pinfall. What a matchup.
What a champion. That guy can take a beating.
And so, fans, that brings to a close both the RWL Japan 5-Star Collaborative Tour and this edition of RWL Rage. As always, we thank all of you for joining us and spending some of your time with us. We'll be back very soon, but up next, be sure to stick around because coming up next, it's going to be RWL Snarl back in the United States, back in New York City. And that is going to be an exciting card with Hangman Tex Lynch, Wally Cardell, and Johnny Bianco. For all of us here at RWL Rage, I've been Don Hickson. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time at ringside. Good night, everybody.